evening. Let's start with a very quick meditation and relaxation. Sit back and relax. Take a deep breath in. Good evening. Before we start today's session, let's begin with a quick, short meditation. Let's sit back and relax. And take a deep breath in. Breathe out. And just try to observe what's going on in the mind. Can we go into a state of emptiness? Just being a little blank in the mind? Where we are dropping everything, just leaving everything behind. And we are just empty. Empty of worries, empty of thoughts. Empty of what to do next. Empty of that whole traffic of thoughts that we've accumulated or experienced throughout the day today. Just leaving everything behind. Just for these few minutes. And being 100% present in this present moment. Completely aware of this present moment. And completely empty of any moment of time before this present moment. No traces of past. Just becoming empty of everything that we experienced since the morning today. The people we met, the chores we did, just completely empty of those traces of past moments. And being 100% in this present second. And we may observe that some stress or some worry about the future might just trickle in as a thought. And just distancing ourselves from that thought as well and coming back into the present moment. While being aware, then the mind will hop between past and future, and it will deny itself from the pleasure of the present moment. Everything is perfect in this present second. If I am empty of everything, this present second is just perfect. I am relaxed. I have been able to regulate the traffic of thoughts in my mind by just dropping everything. These brief moments of deep silence, of tranquility, if I'm able to experience, then I'm learning a new skill today, which is of disassociating myself from my own thoughts, because thoughts are the cause of my happiness, my sorrow, my anxiety. Any way I feel, a thought is the root cause behind how I feel. And mind relaxation means I am aware of what thought has consumed me, and I'm consciously dropping that thought, leaving it, disassociating, distancing myself a little bit from it. So I am less influenced by the energy of that thought, and I'm more enjoying my natural tranquility and inner silence by the absence of that thought. So, just one trick: take a break from your own mind and become empty. Drop everything, leave everything behind. Just enjoy the comfort of this present second and relax. Let's take a deep breath in again. Breathe out and silence the mind. Now we'll resume today's session. And before we end the session, we'll again end with a quick 5-minute meditation. Thank you all.
Thank you, Sister Rakhi. So, welcome all. For those who are joining the first, I'll give a quick overview of why we are here, introduce our speaker for this series of sessions. So, we are IT wing of Raj Yoga Research Education Foundation. Uh, the sole objective of these series of free learning sessions is to empower our audience, make sure they've got options in selecting the right career choice for them. We have many members who are stressed out by their work because they feel they're suffocated and they're not able to make progress. We want to make sure we empower each of you to be successful in your life, thereby experiencing peace and happiness. Uh, Irrespective of what the options are, we want to make sure you have better options, right? So it's always good to have a skill set in hand which will empower you to get a better job, will empower you to get a better higher degree education as well. And we started this learn on train serve series of sessions October last year. We've got few recorded sessions of AWS cloud fundamentals. We started another session for Salesforce, which we concluded last week. And we had guest speakers on how to interview and use LinkedIn as the power of networking. And we periodically give guidance on career, how to progress your career, how to pick a technology to select a career path as well. And we've got WhatsApp groups for those as well. So we welcome you all again. Our guest speaker for today is Mr. Anurag. He is a professional trainer. He's been conducting courses for Python for some time. So we thought we would be able to use his experience and share that experience with all of you so that you can benefit. All our sessions are free of cost because our sole intention is to share knowledge. We believe in the principle of universal brotherhood, and that knowledge is it should be shared. It grows by sharing. Education is not our business. Empowering you, enabling you to experience that peace and happiness in life is our goal. So we encourage more trainers to be able to share their knowledge, empower you to be able to get better options, and then come back and share that knowledge with others. So that's why we've titled it as Learn, where you are learning. It helps you in a better job, so you earn better, and then you train others. You give back to society as well, and we serve others as well. We want to get your feedback at the end of the session, so that way we can adapt to what it is that you need, and we can help you in our journey. We also have a panel of members who help us in the background. I'll briefly introduce them. We have Mr. Sanjeev Gupta, who's been instrumental in spearheading this initiative and making sure we've got all the right trainers and all the flyers and everything, coordinating all of that, motivating everyone. And today we also have with us the pleasure of having Mr. Sanjeev Khanna. He's associated with a university in California. And what we want to make sure is that you not only get hands-on experience for this session, but we'll also be able to tie up with some university, a memorandum of understanding, so we can actually provide you a certificate. But we want to make sure that certificate is fully reflective of what are the needs in the market, which will help you get a better job, which will help you in doing projects related with Python. So that's the new initiative that we are trying to achieve as well. Brief introduction of why so much emphasis on Python. So we've got a wide range of audience as well. We've got school going kids, and we've got working professionals, and age is not a barrier at all. The reason why programming languages are not taught is because schools need to have that staff and the capability to be able to teach and have that computer resources as well. But the human mind has the potential. So we want to make sure we tap into that potential and not have barriers in our mind as to, am I too young or am I too old to be able to learn a new skill set? So that's why we start with a technique at the beginning and the end to empower the mind. So today, Raki shared, be in the present moment. Don't create too many thoughts. Oh, will this benefit or not benefit? What will I do with it? Be in the present moment, just learn, focus on the learning as well. So why Python? Why learn a programming language? So just like we converse with humans to humans with a language where we can read and write, we need a language to be able to converse with computers. Computers are not that smart enough where you can dictate in English language saying, do something or write a program to do something. Not that smart yet. We have applications like Alexa saying, Alexa, tell me the weather for today, and it will tell you the weather for today. But Alexa was programmed as well. So there are a lot of programming languages. Previously, the choice was very simple. 20 years back, the choice was more C. Then came C++, then came Java, then came .NET. And now we have plethora of programming languages. So it's always a challenge to know which programming language should I learn and be relevant in the market. So Python is most simplest. It's the most popular programming language. So if you just do a Google or go to timesjobs.com and look for the number of jobs related with Python, you will see you have the most number of jobs. So Python is the most simplest and the easiest of programming language that we want all of you to learn as well. Python is used by data scientists. Python is also used by data analysts. With Python, pretty much you can do anything that you can do with an object-oriented programming language. But essentially, it's a way to converse, to teach the computer to do things that you want to do. So it's a very easy to use language. We'll start with very simple basics. We assume that you have no knowledge of any programming language, so we want to make sure you are following from the basics itself. Anything that you're not sure what it is, you can post your question in the chat window. We are observing. We've got a panel of members. We've got a lot of PhDs, a lot of members in the background who are looking at the chat window to make sure you are supported. And if there's a question that needs clarification, you can unmute yourself and ask the question as well. So with that, I'll have Mr. Anurag get started with Python, and hope you have a great session. Thank you.
Everyone. I hope everyone is doing fine. Thank you, Dr. Mukesh, for a beautiful introduction. I'm really happy to see so many people here in the session and really excited to teach Python today. And I hope the Josh is high. Everyone is excited to learn something new. I can understand that some of the people already know Python here, and some people are very new. Like they have no, I mean, they have just started. They will be learning the very basics of Python today. So, I will just quickly ask everyone how much they would like to score themselves from 10. They will just they can just give a score to themselves out of 10. How much you would like to score yourself? They can just write in the chat box. I would just like to know what kind of how much knowledge everyone is having in Python. Okay, 3. Oh, 10 on 10. Wow, amazing. Okay. Right. 4.
Hello? Sir, your voice is not clear.
Wait, your voice is fluctuating.
Is it proper now? My voice?
Yeah, your voice is not
No,
audible.
the voice is not clear, sir.
There are sparkling sound also. There are some sparkling sound.
Just a moment. Let me adjust. Is my voice proper now?
Better.
Better? Okay. Perfect. Amazing. So I can see someone said 10 on 10. So I think we have, and someone is telling 0. Okay, no worries. We will be just learning Python from very basics. That means the ABCs of Python is going to be a very basic fundamental. So no need to worry. And we will be raising the bar after a few sessions. Perfect. So hope my voice is clear now. And my video is also clear. Is my video clear?
Yes.
No, sir, it's not clear.
Audio, video, both are not clear.
Just a moment.
While we sort out the issues, I'll just briefly give some more information about Python. So learning and programming language is like learning how to swim. You cannot learn how to swim by watching a YouTube video. It's the same thing over here. You can get information, but you won't really be able to absorb it until you do it yourself. So we want to make sure that you have all the information you need, but you're practicing it as well. please make sure that you follow the assignments and you're actually doing it as well. There's a very good resource for Python programming languages, the W3 School. I'll send the link on the chat window. So there you can practice it as well. But I think Anurag, you want to try now, see if we can hear you now?
Hello, is my voice proper?
This is good, but still video is blurred.
Okay. All right, so I think I can continue. It's okay now. Okay, so let's start again. So Python. Now we are going to learn Python programming today. Like Dr. Mukesh told in the introduction, Python programming language. Why do we need to learn it? Let's try to understand why we need to learn this language. What is the purpose? We have to set the goal in our mind, and then only we can begin the journey. So, Python programming language. Let's try to understand the meaning of these words. So, Python obviously is the name of the language. It's not the name of the snake like you have already seen in the National Geographic or Discovery channels. So this is something related to computer science. Now, programming. So we will try to understand what is the meaning of programming. And language, like we know, language is something which we use to communicate to someone. Okay. All right. Yeah. Yeah, so we use the language to communicate something to the other person. So right now, I am speaking and everyone is present in this session. I'm using the language called English. So I hope everyone is okay with English here. Everyone can understand English. Or there are people who know Hindi and yes. Okay, good, very good. So English, most of the people know English. Now there are so many speaking languages in the world. You have Spanish, you have German. There are so many people are speaking Hindi, Chinese, Japanese. So a set of people are using a language to communicate something to each other. Now, same thing. If you just want to convey something to a computer, if you just want to give some instructions to a computer, how you are going to do? Are we going to use some speaking language? No, we need a computer language. And the computer is not a living being. It's a machine which we have created so that it can benefit us. So definitely we need a computer language. The computer doesn't have a mouth through which it can speak. So we need some medium through which we can give some instructions to the computer, and the computer can perform that function or that activity for us. Okay, so for this we need a computer language. So like how many speaking languages are there in the world? There are lots of computer languages. So say for example, we have C, C++, Java, Python. Yeah, very good, very good. Java is there, Python, which we are running in this series.
Hello.
So, yes.
Sorry to disturb, sir, but can you please remove the headphones? Maybe this is the problem because your voice is actually not clear.
Okay.
Can you speak
Yeah.
naturally?
Yes. Even I was thinking on the same.
We are trying
Maybe
to understand
headphones
something
issue.
and we are not able to understand.
Okay, let me remove my headphones.
Sir, your voice is at all not clear, sir.
Even the picture is not clear, sir. Video.
Okay, let me try to remove the
Picture is
headphones.
okay. We don't require.
Picture is
But
not the
audio
problem.
has to
The
be more
voice is-
clear, sir.
Hello.
Is it okay now?
Yes, perfect, sir.
Okay. I think headphone was the issue.
Yes, now it's
That's perfect.
perfect.
All right. So we were discussing about programming language. Python is one of the programming language which is used to give some instructions to the computer. So let me just share my screen here. I'm going to share my screen. Yeah. Can everyone see the screen?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Yeah, so the question, what is programming? We can see here, programming is giving instructions to the computer. In very simple words, it's just giving some instructions to the computer. But we give the instructions to the computer in a language which the computer can understand. Okay, so the language should be understandable by the computer, not some English language or not some Hindi language. All right, now let's see Python. Who is the great person who created this language? We can see the name of this person is Guido van Rossum. He created the language in 1991. Okay, so we should be very thankful for this great person who created this language, and we are just learning Python today because of Guido van Rossum. So that's what the programming is all about, giving instructions to the computer so that the computer can understand to perform some task for us. Now, what is the use of Python? Why it is so popular and why we are discussing about it? So like Dr. Mukesh said, Python is used everywhere. You know, it is used in web development, it is used in game development, it is used in data analytics. So it's a language which is used almost everywhere. And also one more thing, it's very simple to learn Python. That's also an interesting fact. And it's simple in comparison with other programming languages. Like nothing is easy in this world. You definitely have to practice for it. So when you compare Python with other languages, it is easy. So let me just give an example. Now, if you just want to print hello world in Python, and let's take C++, Java, and let's keep Python in between. So if you write same hello world in C++, you'll have to write like 5 lines of code. In Java, you'll have to write 7 lines of code. That's how the syntax is. But in Python, you have to write 1 line of code. Okay? You just need 1 line of code. Write hello world on the screen using Python. So that's the difference. The syntax is very simple, and yet it is very powerful programming language. Okay? So I hope my voice is clear now. Is there any disturbance or Yes, sir, you
Sir.
Perfect.
lagging and
Clear, clear, sir.
it's clear. Okay, perfect. So let me share my screen again. Here. So it is considered as one of the most versatile programming languages. And if someone is very new to programming, like if they have just started, it will be they'll be able to relate with the language very easily because it's a very readable language. So that was the purpose Guido van Rossum created this language. He wanted to make Python as a code readable language. It has a very simple and easy to use syntax. and it can run on any platform using Windows, Linux, Mac OS X, and Unix. And like I said, it's easy and it's an open source language, high level programming language, portable, supported by many devices. All right, now I'll just stop my screen here. So let me just go on my Google Chrome and let's write some code on Python. So we will be using an online editor to write the code. You can use offline editor also. But since, online, I think everyone is sitting on their laptop or computer so that they can just open Google Chrome and they can open an online editor, which I'm going to share with you, and they can write the code. I hope everyone is using their laptops or computers, or someone has joined from the smartphone. Okay. Perfect. Okay, someone is using the smartphone. Yes, you can definitely try. Okay, perfect. Now, as a beginner, if someone is learning programming, he's a beginner, not an intermediate. So what is advisable that, there are two types of, the way you can write the code. So first one is a block-based programming. You can use the blocks. You can just, like how you have the jigsaw puzzles. You just take the puzzles and you just solve it. Like that, you can take blocks and you can write the code. And definitely the other way is to use the keyboard and use text-based coding. So there are two types of coding, block-based coding and text-based coding. All right, now let me share my screen again. Okay. Can you please see my screen properly?
Yes.
All right. Now here, this platform is called EduBlocks. If you just go on Google, if you type EduBlocks and you can just click on the first option, this very beautiful platform is going to appear where we will be using blocks to write the Python code. Okay, so let me just take you through this platform. Here, I'm going to click on New Plus. And I will just click on Python 3. I will just name the project as Hello World. Let me start coding. So you don't need an online editor. So you don't need an offline editor because you'll have to install and you have to do all those things. So if someone is not having an offline editor, they can directly go online. They can open EduBlocks and they can start writing the code. So, okay, on the left hand side, you can see there are different sections. In each section, there are different blocks which you can see. So you can see there is variable, imports, statements, logic. You have list. You have loops, very important. Definitions, okay, so and so forth. You have the math section from where you can take all the math functions. In between, you have to, it's a workspace. You have to just take the blocks and you have to write the code. Like that, you have to just take the blocks. And on the right hand side, you can see the output on the right hand side. So there are three sections on this top, the split section, the block section, which is just going to give you the block section, and the code, which will just show you the text of the code. All right, now let's print hello world here. So I'm going to go in statements. Let me just, okay, it's proper now. Yeah, I will go in statements and I will just pick up this print block and let's run the code. So you can see it is just giving the output as hello world on the screen. So it's a ritual. Whenever we are learning a new programming language, we write hello world every time. It's like a programming ritual which we have to follow. So you can write anything here. Hello world. Hi, how are you? You can print anything on screen and you can just get the output on the right hand side. Okay, now what if I just want to print hello world like 10 number of times? Let me just remove this thing. All right, I want to print hello world 10 times. Okay, let's do it. What I'll do, I'll just duplicate 10 times. Okay, there you go. 3, 4. I hope everyone is using this. Please, you can open EduBlocks parallelly on your screen and you can write the code. Yeah. Yes, parallelly you can just open EduBlocks and you can write the code also.
Where do
All
you
right.
see the output, sir?
Yeah, output is on the right hand side. Can you see it? Hello world, it's showing here.
We do not see
Yes,
that.
yes.
Okay. So 4 times. Okay, I'll just do some more. I want to print it for like 10 times. All right, there you go. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, and 10. All right, let's see the output. Oh, amazing. Hello world 10 times. Okay, now what if I just want to print it 100 times? So am I going to duplicate the print block 100 times? No, that's not a smart way to write the code. It is really time consuming if I do that way. So what is the best way? What is the smartest way to do this? If I just want to print hello world 100 times. Someone can answer.
Loops.
We can use
Loops.
for loop.
Very good.
Using logic.
Very good. Yeah. We will be using loops for this. So I will just go in loops. Let me take a for loop here. All right. For I in range, and I want to print hello world. So definitely I have to take the print block. I will just put that inside the for block. Okay. And then I'm just going to write for I in range 10. All right, let's run. There you go. So it just gives me hello world without just writing it again and again. What if I just want to print it for 100 times?
Sorry to disturb. How did you execute the code, sir?
Sorry?
How do you execute the code?
Yeah, executing the code on the right hand side, can you see there is this stop and the run button, stop? Let me animate.
Yeah, got it, sir.
Yeah, there. You have to just click on the run button and you will get the output.
Yes, got it.
All right. Okay. So that's how we can just write hello world 100 times. Now I can't just keep on writing. I can't add those extra lines. It is very time consuming. So it is better to use loops in this condition. So there are different types of loops also, which we will study in coming classes.
So there is for loop, there is while loop. We will be studying about loops in detail. Okay, perfect. So that's the use of for loop. I hope everyone is writing the code parallelly. Is it making sense? Everyone can understand what I'm trying to convey.
Yes, yes, very clear.
Yeah. All right. Perfect. Now, let's draw some shapes. Let's draw some shapes using Python. So I will just go here. For this, we want to use a module. There are different modules in Python. So there is a module called turtle module. Okay, so I think, you have all the animals, name of the animals here in Python. You have Python, the name itself, the name of the snake. Then you have turtle, another animal. Okay, so if you just go in turtle, you can see there are different blocks which we will be using. So first of all, I want to import the turtle module. So I will go in the import and I'm just going to use from turtle import asterisk. If you just go in the code here, you can see this is a asterisk. That means we are importing all the functions from the turtle module. That's the purpose of the asterisk. Okay, let's go back to blocks. Now, am I too fast? Is the pace okay?
Yeah, but I could
Yes,
not
okay.
catch up with the turtle, sir. I didn't know where it is.
Okay.
From where you
Okay.
pulled that block, I don't know.
Yeah, you can get the turtle from here. Just telling the turtle in the turtle section.
Yeah, because I could not see here.
Yeah, for importing, you have to go on the very top. From imports, you can take from turtle. Okay, so first of all, we just want to create a screen so that we can draw some shapes using the turtle. So for that, I have to first go in the turtle section. Turtle equals to turtle function. I'm going to take this block. Then screen equals to screen function. All right. So I have the screen ready. Now I can just draw any shape here. Okay. So for drawing, first of all, I'll take this block. Turtle dot forward. That means I'm just telling the turtle to move forward by 90. Okay. Let's see the output. All right, there's nothing. Okay, there. It's just showing it is moving forward by 90. Can everyone see this?
Yes, sir.
All right, now I want the turtle to move left. What I'm trying to do is that I want to create the shape of a square. So I will just tell the turtle to move left now. So I'm going to go in the turtle again. Okay, let me duplicate this. And I will just write here left. Turtle dot left 90. That means move from 90 degrees in the left hand side and then move forward again. So duplicate forward. I think there's someone waiting in the lobby. That message is just showing up. Okay, so let's run the code. All right, so it moves forward, turns left by 90 degrees and moves forward again. All right, now I just want to make a complete square there. I'll just duplicate few more times. Okay, forward, left, forward, and then again left, forward, and then left. Okay, I think it has to move back. There. So we have the square ready in front of us. Okay, perfect. This is one way. This is one way. What if I just want to reduce the number of lines of code here? So for that, I can see here, there are 2 lines which is getting repeated. Forward and left, it is getting repeated 4 times. So it's better to remove this thing and use the loops again. And I will just write here in the numbers how many times I want the iteration. So iteration should be for 4 times. I'll just write 4 here. And let's again run the code. There. All right, so we have the square in front of us. The number of lines of code has reduced because I have just used the for loop here in the code. So we have to be a smart coder. We have to be a smart programmer who writes the code very effectively in a smart way in less number of lines. All right, perfect. Now, what I will just request everyone is that they can make a pentagon using the turtle module. You can just try. Is everyone trying? Please, you can say yes or no. Yes. Okay. Some of you must have made it also because 10 on 10. So there is a genius who's in the session. So that's really amazing. All right. So, I've just gone to the code section. I can see the text format of the code here. So that's what we want to do, in the next session or after 2 or 3 sessions, we will be typing the code instead of using the blocks. So this is just for initial understanding. I'm using the blocks here because if someone is very new to programming, this is the best way he can start. He'll be able to, get the language easily if he's using the blocks at an initial stage. Okay, perfect. Let's make the pentagon here. So I just need to change one value in my code. That is, instead of 90, I want to change. Okay, dot left. Instead of 90, I want to change it to 72. And instead of 4, how many sides a pentagon has? 5 sides. So I will just, instead of 4, I will write 5. Let's run the code. There. So we have the pentagon. Now, why I wrote 72 there? Can someone say? Can someone answer that? Why I wrote 72 there? Yes, amazing.
360 degree. It's a
Yes,
sum of
very good.
360 degree.
Correct. So 360 divided by the number of sides. Now we have maths here. So, the maths genius, it's very, they'll be enjoying this thing. And no worries, we don't have to be afraid of maths in programming. We just need to understand basic addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. That's it. So if your math was not good in your school, then you don't have to worry about it. We just need basic maths here. So 360 divided by 5 is 72. So we will just write dot left 72. So turtle is going to turn by 72 degrees. That's the logic we are using here for making a pentagon. Okay, so like the same logic we can apply for making other shapes. Like if you want to make a hexagon, what is the value you have to give here? Yes, very good. So I have to just give 60 there, 60, because 360 divided by 6 is 60. All right, so I'll just give 60 there, and definitely I have to change the value of iteration because hexagon has 6 sides. So instead of 5, I will just write 6 there. So let's run the code. There. So we have a hexagon with us. So like that, you can just create any shape. Not only shape, you can create any design using the turtle module. That's really an amazing module in Python. Okay, so you can go to the code and you can see this is the code. That's how we have to type the code to get the output. All right, so I hope this is clear. And yeah, everyone is able to understand. You know, they can just write yes, no, or clear. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Very good. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Now we can just move on to the next concept which we are going to learn. All right. Now, let me delete this code. We just learned how to print something on the screen. That means using the print function, you can print something on the screen. It's clear you have to use the print keyword within the brackets, and within the double quotes, you have to write the statement. That's how you are going to print anything on the screen. Now, what if you want to get an input from the user? Say, for example, the computer is asking, enter your name. So you're just going to enter the name using your keyboard. That means the computer is asking a question.
I got some.
Yeah, the computer is asking a question and it is expecting an input from the user. So how to get the input from the user? Let's see. So all right, I'll go in statements. I'll use the print block. Okay, it is going to say hello world. Then I'm going to go in variables. All right, let me just create a variable. Now this new thing variable, let's try to understand what is a variable. Let me first create a variable. So I'll just go on create variable and let me give the name of the variable as name, because I'm just going to store the name inside this. All right. So I will take this variable here. Now I want the input from the user. So I will go in the statements again, and I will use this input function. And I'm just going to put it inside the variable. So what's actually happening here is that the computer is going to take the name from the user and it is going to store that name inside a variable. It is going to store the data inside a variable. Okay, so the information or the data, the computer needs some space where it can store that data. It needs some memory location. where it can store that data. So for that, we have to create a variable. So basically, a variable is like a container where we can store some value. Okay, so I'll just write here, it is already saying what is your name. So I will just put it here in this way. And then I'm going to print the value of the variable on the screen. So statements. This time I'm going to take this print variable block. Now, if you carefully look here, there are two print blocks. First print block within the double quotes. Second print is just the variable. It doesn't have the double quotes. So let me take this print variable and I'm just going to write the name of the variable here, which is name. So it says, hello world, what is your name? So I just write there, Anurag. And let me press enter. So it says Anurag. All right. So it is taking the input from the user and it is printing on the screen. Clear? If I just don't give this, it is not going to print. It will just take the name, but it is not going to print the name. So it's not showing because the print function is not. All right. So that's the purpose of the input block, to get the input from the user. So till now we studied two functions, the print function printing something on the screen and the input function getting the input from the user. Okay. Now another thing, let me again put this thing and I'll just go in the code. So that's how your text code looks like, print hello world and so and so. So we have to just get used to this. After some time, we will be writing the text code. Okay, now what if I want to ask the age of the user? So another thing, let me just write here. What is your age? Let me enter 55. Okay, it shows 55 on the screen. All right, what if I just give some decimal value? Let's take for any example. I'll just give 55.55. All right, it again gives me 55.55. All right, so that's how we are just going to get the output on the screen. Now, it is also very important to specify the data type of the input function. Okay, let me do one thing. Okay. So I hope everyone is just having a notebook and a pen with them so that they can just note down. So it is just telling the definition of the variables. Please, everyone can just get a notebook because it's very important to make notes so that you can just revise when the session is over. You can go through those notes and you can just revise. So it says the definition of the variable. A variable is a reserved memory location to store values. In other words, a variable in a program gives data to the computer for processing. It is just providing the data to the computer so that the computer can process that. Okay, so as the name suggests, variable, that means it can vary. So at one time it can have some value, at another time you can change that value. So the variable value can vary based on your programming skills. All right, so at one time you are just going to store a name inside a variable. In another situation, you want to store some value, like the age inside the variable. Or at another moment, you just want to store some decimal value, like the value of pi, 3.14. So it has a decimal value. All right, so it is variable. It's just like, like a water bottle. Like a water bottle, the bottle is the container. Inside that, you can store anything. Inside that, you can store water, you can store some juices if you want, you can store the milk. So what happens? The container is same, but the content is going to change. Someday you have water in it, another day you have milk in it, another day you have some kind of juices, some mango juice or some apple juice. So the content is variable, but the container remains the same. Okay, I hope this is clear. Yes, no? Okay, perfect. Very good. All right. Now, let's try to understand data. So we are just going to store the data inside a variable. Now, what is this data? What is this word called data? So data is any kind of information. Any kind of information which the computer is going to need. It requires some kind of data. So let's take an example. Your name, your age, your address, your contact details, your home address, your Aadhaar card and your PAN card. All this is the information. Okay, so data is basically some kind of information which the computer is going to need. Okay, now there are different types of data. Like you have different types of flowers. You have lily, you have daffodils, you have rose. So like that, there are different types of data in programming. So what are those different types? Let's try to understand that. All right. What are data types? So data types are nothing but tells a computer that how we want to use the data entered. Okay, and the user input captures the number of strings, a sequence of characters, and first are defined and then only become ready to execute. So you can just note it down. What you have to do whenever you are using an input function, you have to define the data type. Then only it is going to be proper. If you need a string, you have to just mention the string data type. If you want an integer, you have to mention the integer along with the input function. That means you have to define the data type for the input function. And by default, the data type is string data type. I repeat, please write it down. By default, for the input function is a string data type. If you don't mention any data type along with the input function, the Python is just going to consider it as a string. Okay, now what is the string? Is it the strings of the guitar? which people play? No, actually this is some different string. So this string is a sequence of characters, including punctuations, numbers, and letters. So it's just a sequence of character, like my name, Anurag. And it's very important to put the string inside double quotes, or else it's not a string. I repeat, the string is always inside a double quote. It can be anything. Inside the double quote, you can write a number also. 1, 2, 3 within double quotes is a string. Any word within double quotes is a string. So that's the string data type. It can have punctuations also, numbers also, letters also. Perfect. Next one is an integer. What is an integer? A number with no decimal place. That means any number like 1, 2, 3, 4, so and so forth. But it should not have a decimal place. That's an integer. So see, these are the programming words which is used. You know, in normal English, in maths, it is called a number. But in programming, it is called an integer. That is only the difference. So we have to get used to these kind of terms. As a programmer, we have to use these kind of terms. Third one is float. That means not floating on the water. This float is a data type of programming. So float, a number with a decimal place. That means the value of pi, 3.14, or any decimal value, 4.55 or 3.14, 3.25. Any decimal value is called float in programming. All right. So these are the three data types: string, integer, and float. At a very basic level, there are definitely more which we will study in the coming sessions. So to begin with, string, integer, and float. All right. Let me stop sharing. It makes sense? Okay. Right, very good. Perfect. So I think the time is 5:18 right now. Let's write one code and then we can move forward. Let's write one more code here. Okay, so just a moment. Perfect. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to get two numbers from the user, add them, and then print the answer on the screen. That's what I want to do. So for this, I want two variables. The first variable is going to store the first number. Second variable is going to store the second number. Okay, so I will just go in variables and create variable num1. I will write num1, num2. You can please, along with me, you can do this parallelly on your screen. Num2. Okay, created two variables to store two numbers, which is going to be entered from the user. So I will just, for this, what I need to get an input from the user. Someone can please answer. Very good. Input function is the input function is required to get the input from the user. So I will just go in variables num1, num2. I will select num1 here. Statements, input, and I have to mention the data type as int because it is a number, right? So you have to specify the data type also for the input function. So you go in statement and then you are just going to take the int, all right? And then let me put that inside the int and let me put in this way. What I have done, I have just mentioned the data type of the input, which is an integer. All right, next, number 2. So let me duplicate. Let me just change this to num2. And I will just change the statement there. And this one will be second number. Okay. Now I need a third variable, which is I'm going to add both the numbers and store the result in the third variable. So for that, I will go in variables again, create a variable as result. Okay, I'll just name it as results. All right. Now, inside the result, I want to add both the numbers. So for this, I need an operator, a plus operator. So if you just see here in logics, if you just see the logic, if you go inside, you can see this double equals to block. I'm just going to grab that block, and instead of double equals to, okay, not this one actually, you will just get the operator here. You have to actually go in the math function, math section, and you have to get this plus operator. All right, let me take this one and let me just go in variables. Num1 will be on the left hand side, num2 will be on the right hand side, and both will go inside the result. Okay, now the addition has happened. The result has been stored inside the result variable. Next step is to print the answer on the screen. So it's like, you have to just give everything. You have to just tell the computer to do everything. That's the speciality of computers. You have to just spoon feed them. You have to tell everything to the computer, or else they are not going to do it. So if you just go, I'll just take the print block again. So I'll just go here, print variable. All right. And then the result variable will be inside this. So I'll just go in variables and I will take this result block and I'll put it here. Okay. Let's run the code again. Enter the first number. I'll just write 5. Enter the second number, 5 again. And it shows me the answer as 10. So, getting the two numbers from the user, adding it, and printing the result on the screen.
So, no,
So,
yeah, can I ask one question?
yeah, please.
Yeah. So result actually, as we haven't defined here, so result will be by default it will be string, correct? Because num1,
Yeah.
num2 we are defined as an integer, but result it will be by default string. So 10 the result which is coming after addition, so it will be considered as a string. Correct?
Yes, it will be considered as string because for a result, we have not defined any data type. So by default, it will consider it as a string. Okay, so anyway, we are just getting the answer here, which is 10 here. But if you just, if you're trying to find out the data type of this, it will give you string, str. It will print str on the screen. If you just find out the data type of the result page. So that also we will know how to find the data type of any data. If it is an integer, if it is a float, or if it is a string. So the Python is just going to display that. For that, we have a function. We will be discussing about that in the coming classes.
Will you please show that the command sheet?
Sorry, ma'am. What's your question?
That program sheet, the text sheet. Screen, that black one.
This block.
No,
Plus what?
actually it's a image view. The other one, other screen that which shows all the command.
Code of this program.
Yeah, code. Okay. So if you just go in the code, this is how your code looks like in the text format.
Here, if we add 5.5 plus 6, then what will be the result?
Actually, I'm not able to hear you. Just a moment. For the questions, let me just do one thing. Yeah. Now, yeah, please, you can ask.
Yeah, if we add 5.5 plus 6, then the answer will what?
Okay. Okay, 5.5. That means we are going to use a float value, right? So it is going to give an error. We will be getting an error in this situation. Okay, let's do one thing because we have not defined the exact data type. It's a float value.
If you
But we have defined integer.
Answer is 1.6, then what we want to do?
Yeah, so if you are just putting the value as 4.5, you have to mention float in the input function. You have to mention float there. That's how you have to write it.
Okay.
Okay, so you have to just mention the data type. If you don't mention, the default data type is going to be considered as string by the Python. Okay, so this is how we have to do it. Now, till now, what we have studied, I'll just revise quickly. So we have studied about the print function. If you just want to print something on the screen, and then about the input function. If you want to get some input from the user, we use the input function. And it's very important to mention the data type of the input function. If you don't mention, the default data type is string. Okay, and also we learned about turtle module. Now it's a very beautiful module provided by Python where you can make some shapes. You can make some shapes, you can create some design using the turtle module. So we created the square, we created a pentagon, we created
Pentagon, hexagon.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So that's all from my side for today. And the assignment we can consider as we just want to create a calculator. Like today we just got two numbers from the user, added them and showed the result on the screen. So similarly, we have to do it for other operations also. Subtraction, multiplication and division. Okay, so we have to create a calculator where you have to ask from the user which operations he wants to perform, and according to the choice of the user, it is going to display the answer. Getting two numbers from the user and do the operation and show the result on the screen. So that is the assignment, to create a calculator. Okay, perfect. So that's all from my side for today. I would just hand over to Dr. Mukesh.
Thank you, Anurag. This was very informative, and I think it was a good start for the beginners who have no programming ideas. So I would strongly suggest to everyone, try out the assignments if you didn't try it out now. If you have any questions, please do post it on the WhatsApp group. If you have any issues running into the assignment, so that way, you didn't have too much of a backlog for the next week. Please do take out time to do the assignment. If you want to do a simple calculator assignment, if you have trouble doing that assignment, please do not hesitate to reach us on the WhatsApp. That I hope you enjoyed today's session. Please do fill out the survey form. It will take only 2 minutes to do it. It will help us to make sure we are fine-tuning the session based on your needs. As you can, so we conducted a poll, and most of the audience, they wanted the session with hands-on and for beginners. So we are fine-tuning our sessions to accommodate all the beginners with no programming language. So your feedback, continuous feedback, will help us fine-tune the sessions as well. With that, we will share another mind empowering technique. So the beginning of the session, we had a mind relaxation technique of being in the present. No worries of the past, no anxiety of the future, but being in the present moment, because that allows you to concentrate and save your energy. Because anything, if you're not in the present, it's either in the past or the future, is going to waste your energy. So we want to make sure you're concentrated for this session, and you're in the present, no worries of the future. Share another mind empowering technique with Sister Raki. So that way you're learning as well, and you're strengthening your mind to be able to retain all this information. Please make sure you revise as well, because the human tendency is to forget things within the next 24 hours. So please do revise. It'll take 10 minutes, but you'll remember it for a long time. With that, I'll ask Sister Raki to share another mind empowering technique. Thank you very much, all of you. Please do fill out the feedback.
Thank you, Dr. Mukesh. Once again, good evening to everyone. And as the theme again is mind empowerment, sit back and relax. And just take one thought. One powerful thought. And if you're able to stabilize in the energy of that one powerful thought, no matter what disturbances exist around us, it is an opportunity for us to ignore the external sounds, disturbances, and exercise full concentration on one powerful thought, which is, yes, I can do anything I set my mind on. Yes, I can. I take this one thought, especially at the moments when I feel challenged. Challenged by people and their behaviors. Challenged by professional career. Challenged by financial hardships. Challenged by technology when things don't work on the computer. All I have to do is sit back, relax, take a deep breath, disconnect from that challenge and the problem and just take one powerful thought. Yes, I can resolve any challenge presented to me. And even if it doesn't externally get resolved, by all my efforts, then I have enough power to disconnect from the outcome of my own efforts and disconnect from the influence of that challenge on my mind. So, yes, I can do both. Work hard to overcome the challenge externally, but yet stay detached from the outcome if it doesn't work in my benefit or as I expected it to be. Yes, I can do both of these. The moment I believe in this, that's the moment I am already empowered to address any challenge presented to me with my full energy while trying to resolve it. And whether the outcome be it being resolved or not in my favor, I have the full power to disconnect from that outcome as well. So I am free. I am liberated from that situation that presented the challenge, from my hard efforts towards overcoming it, and from the outcome, unfavorable or favorable. When I am unaffected, unimpacted by anything outside, I have the power to invest my time and energy in an alternative path which provides better potential of better outcomes to me. So every obstacle in my life's path is only to benefit me, to empower me, to redirect me, to guide me, to make me wise and experienced on how to tackle life with better wisdom. So, just one mantra. Yes, I can. So, with a deep breath, breathing in and breathing out, I spend the rest of my evening today just thinking on the fact that is it worth spending so many thoughts, energy, feeling down over something that I did my best and had no control over the outcome? Is it worth for me to live under the influence of a past event and ruin my present? Or is it better to let it go, drop it in a second, take it in a very positive aspect. Save the energy of the mind and invest it in learning something new. So let's move forward with this awareness. And be relaxed. Thank you everyone for your time today. And we look forward to seeing you again next week. Have a great evening and a great rest of the week. Thank you.
Thank you, Raki. Hope you filled out the feedback form. Please reach out to Akshay if you're not part of the WhatsApp group. Any other questions? If not, we will end the session over here today. We'll see you next Sunday. Thank you very much, everyone.